Welcome to a code report solution video. In this video, we're going to be covering the solution to problem 2 from the CodeChef June cook-off entitled Good Permutations. The problem states you have a sequence with a length n created by removing some elements, possibly 0, from a permutation of numbers 1 through n. When an element is removed, the length of the sequence doesn't change, but there is an empty spot left where the removed element was. You also have an integer k. Let's call a permutation p1 through pn good if it is possible to replace empty spots in A by numbers in such a way that we obtain the permutation p with the number of positions I, where I is between 1 and n, such that pi is greater than pi minus 1, and that number of elements is equal to k. So your task is to find the number of good permutations, and note that the number of test cases we're going to have is going to be 300, and most importantly, our n, the number of elements in our permutation, is going to be less than or equal to 8. And note that each integer between 1 and n inclusive appears in A at most once. So a little bit of a confusing problem statement, but let's take a look at an example and see what this question is asking. So here's our example. We have t equal to 1, so just one test case, n equal to 6, k equal to 2, and then the start of our permutation, 321000. So the first thing we're going to do is store our permutation in A, and then we're going to find the numbers that are missing from A. So these are represented by all the zeros, and we're just looking for the numbers in between 1 and n here is 6, so the numbers we're missing are 4, 5, and 6. And once we have this, due to the fact that n is bounded by 8, we can just brute force this, and so that's going to involve permuting over every single sort of permutation of these elements here, and then slotting them into our the empty spots in our array A. So we'll create an array D, and this will be sort of the current permutation that we're looking at. And so once we've done this, we then need to count what is the number of elements at I that are greater than the element at I minus 1. So the first 3 don't satisfy this. 2 is not greater than 3, 1 is not greater than 2, but 4, 5, and 6 all do. So 4 is greater than 1, 5 is greater than 4, and 6 is greater than 5. So if we count these and call that j, j is equal to 3, but we want j to be equal to k, which is 2 in this example. So 3 is not equal to 2, so this is not a good permutation. If we go to the next permutation though, 321465, we do have j equal to 2. So 4 is greater than 1, 6 is greater than 4, but 5 is not greater than 6. So this is a valid or good permutation. So we're just going to continue to do this. Our next permutation, 5, 4, 6. 5 is greater than 1, 4 is not greater than 5, and 6 is greater than 4, so j is equal to 2. So this is a good permutation. Our next permutation is also good. The permutation after that is also good. 6 greater than 1, 5 greater than 4, but 4 not greater than 6. And our last permutation is not good because we only have j equal to 1. So this is our full algorithm. It's a brute force algorithm, and it's more implementation tricky than it is sort of algorithm tricky. So the answer here is going to be 4 good permutations. So let's take a look at our code. So here is our C++ solution. At the top here, we are just reading in our input for t, the number of test cases, and then we have our while loop t times. So the first thing we're going to do inside that is read in our n and k, the length of our permutation, and k, the number of elements that we want to be greater than the element to the left of it, and then we're just initializing our 2 vectors a and b. So a is going to be our unfinished permutation, sort of what we're starting with, and b is going to be our missing number. So we just have a simple for loop to read in the elements to a, and then another for loop that's checking the numbers between 1 and n inclusive, and seeing does that number exist in our vector A. If it doesn't, then we want to include that in our vector B, the missing numbers. So now we have A and B, and all we're going to do is initialize a variable answer, which is going to keep track of the number of good permutations, and then we're going to enter our do while loop, which is going to loop over all of the permutations of our missing numbers B. So note that because we looped from 1 to n increasing, B is going to be sorted, so if it wasn't sorted, you'd need to do that first in order to loop over all next permutations, but due to the way that we've written this algorithm, it already is sorted. So we make a copy of A because we need to preserve the state of our sort of unfinished initial permutation. So we make a copy of that, call it D, and then we loop over the elements in D, and we just check if the elements equal to 0, fill it with one of the missing numbers, our current permutation of those missing numbers, and then increment sort of the extra counter J for the missing numbers. And then once we do this, we make a call to adjacent count greater than, which I'll show in a second, and this is just going to count the elements that are at element I that are greater than the element at I minus 1. And if that's equal to K, we do a plus plus on our number of good permutations. And then once we finish this do while loop, we can just output the answer. So taking a look at the adjacent count greater than function, it's making use of one of the algorithms in the numeric library called adjacent find, which if you only pass it a first and last iterator, it's going to return to you the first two elements that are adjacent to each other and are equal. That's the default binary predicate in the adjacent find algorithm. But you can overload this with a lambda expression, which instead of finding the first two equal elements, it's going to find the first two elements B and A, where B is greater than A. And so if we just write a while loop around this, that is going to return once we get to the end of our data structure or the last sort of iterator that you pass this function, we can return the number of elements where B is greater than A. So B is going to be the element on the right, A is going to be the element on the left. And so each time it finds this, you're just going to do a post increment on the number of elements that meet this predicate, and then also we need to make sure we do a post increment on our iterator so that we're always searching for the first element, two elements that we haven't already found. So once we do this, it's going to return us the number of elements that are where B is greater than A. So the element at I is greater than the element at I minus 1. And note that in order to get this compile on the CodeChef website, you have to make sure you have the C++14 tag because we're using function deduce return type, and we're also using generic lambdas. So this is our algorithm in total, and the last thing to talk about is the time complexity. So the adjacent count greater than is linear, and our do while loop using the next permutation is going to be n factorial. So in total, the time complexity of this algorithm is big O of n times n factorial.
As always, if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, hit that like button. If you want to see more, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You can follow me on Twitter for reminders 30 minutes before contests start, and you can find all of the code shown in my videos on my GitHub page. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.